Happy place. Man, stunning home renovation amazes Mzansi SA in our way. In A. That this guy, this house looks exactly like the houses that you'd find in Transkei. That look at that. Look at that. So renovated it from here to what? Mentions office, happy place, Facebook. Use is not open up about renovating his no his grandma's home. The Chen said he did not want to destroy his Gogo's place but revive their ancestral home. The man went on to say the following in his Facebook caption: much as I wanted a contemporary design, a large family house, but I still wanted to keep the history of her life in the flat. So many memories. It had only one bedroom, a kitchen, and sitting room. Now it has four bedrooms, all ensuite, a fitted kitchen and lounge and dining room. It's not then shared three photos showcasing the granular transformation by these photos. That's why we're here. We have photos, man. This is the before and then or during this one, I think. Before and during, see the extension there. We can see the extension. Where's the other photo? There's a photo before this one. Yeah, there's a photo. What were they doing? Delivery and also tearing it apart. Seemingly, there was no one staying here because you can see the plants growing inside the house. The plants growing. This is during the renovations, and this is voila! It is pretty, man. This is pretty good. It's pretty nice, man. That is, this is a wonderful transformation. I mean, I like the design. It's the type of designs that are like sliding towards these windows and then the roofing and all that. Even that roundabout on the side there is something that I would like to have also in my granny's place. I think it's a good one. That's very inspirational. I aspire to be a person like this one. Saying, Tribun's motivation me. Estava checando myself. Yeah, let's go and read there some other news, man. And I found myself on Facebook. 70 the Dama Bag. Yeah, let's go and read there some other news, man. And I found myself on Facebook. 70 the Dama Bag. Yeah, let's go and read there some other news, man. And I found myself on Facebook. 70 the Dama Bag. Live. So we live for real. Let's go back. Freedom is saying inspired. I'm also inspired. Freedom. Keep it up. Good work, Buffalo. I'm telling you that the mom is a role model. Well done. Paint it nicely. Done a good job. Okwamkhuluwa ukubonga ukuthi uhlaziye ikhaya liphakamisele phezulu ngolu hlobo. Ngenene nokuba abantu abadala bayacinga, bayazingca ngawe, bekweleli moya. That's my language, but it's hard for me to read it. It's a disgrace. It's a huge disgrace. We could also just watch videos there, but let's go back. We said we're here for what? We're here for the news. We're here for the news. All right, that oh boy, big up. It's like that post. And you didn't like on Facebook though. You should be liking here on Facebook, bro. How will we like? Am I going to be able to like it? How do I go to the post itself, people? Why can't I even like the pictures? Oh, bruh, that's me. Yeah, let's know. Right. Let's move along. Let's move along. And now what we have here. Ah, come on, dude. I wanna go to the Bible. Yeah, I wanna come here. Short football fans are only just realizing Lamine Yamal's dad is younger than. Come on. Trying to beat to end homelessness. Okay. They'll clean the streets. I wonder how are they going to do that. FBI identifies Trump shooter as a 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. He tried to take Trump down. Was he sent by Biden? Or is he doing it just for himself? Or is he a foreigner? We don't know. Or maybe, as many of them are saying in America, that it was staged. So the guy might be paid by the same person he was trying to assassinate. It's weird enough that the guy after. Let's go and check a video out about this. You'll you'll also come. You will also say if it was staged or not. Then here it is his bodyguards who came through after the shooting. But the headline saying they have identified Thomas. The FBI has identified the shooter in an assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, a Pennsylvania, USA media reported on Sunday. Pennsylvania. The FBI has identified Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20-year-old of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania, as the subject involved in the assassination attempt of former President Donald Trump on the 13th of July. The Butler, Pennsylvania. The FBI said in a statement quoted by NBC and CBS. But I wanted us to go check a video out that has this. Let's hope if the screen is still showing that. Yeah, because I said it's the whole screen. Let's go to YouTube over there. Obviously, it's gonna be one of the trending news on YouTube. There, see, attackers at Donald Trump's rally killed by U.S. Secret Service sniper. What attacker at killed? Was he not identified? Was identified and killed, right? Why is he killed? Why did they kill him? I thought they just identified and apprehended him. He was killed. What? Let's just go to news here. What you mean killed? And that this is we're looking for Trump. These are SA News. Come on, yeah. Let's go to Donald Trump. I want Donald Trump. Yes, like the air will be recommended to
Is a banana a metabolism booster or a killer? I just heard the truth from this guy and my mind was blown.
This is a metabolism.
2 people are dead. One is the shooter, one is someone who was inside the crowd, and 2.
Check this out, guys. See, after this was post the shooting, right? Look at what is Donald Trump doing. Somebody comes into your rally and then they attempt to assassinate you, right? And then your bodyguards come to cover you up, like with their lives. These guys. You see how risky this is because none of them is wearing a vest. Probably they are, but they are covering him up so that whenever if the shooters may try to shoot again, they don't get trapped, right? They rather just shoot them because look at their heads, are just not protected. They're not safe. So I don't know why the guy didn't use a sniper gun or something like that, or he's not good at that. But nonetheless, you see how those guys are protecting Donald Trump, right? So instead of keeping down, because it's supposed to be to lower himself so that he may not be exposed to the attackers.
That the two people are dead.
Look at Donald Trump sticking out his face, sticking out his fist. He's waving to the crowd. You'd say it's because he's feeling safe, but look at the bodyguards are seriously trying to cover him up. There's even a lady there who's trying to cover a man up. It's weird. She's doing a job. But look at that guy. He's covering him up with his hand. But Donald Trump keeps on sticking his hand out. Like, what is this, guys? See, the guys with helmets are not the ones who are covering him up because they are not his personal bodyguards. So yeah, it's sad why these guys are trying. So they're saying that two guys.
The shooting starts, and then they pile on top, which is what they're trained and presumably in hospital. President Trump elevated position outside the farm show ground where the rally was taking place. That tallies with what our eyewitnesses have been telling us. They say that the two people are dead. One is the shooter, one is someone who was inside the crowd, and two other people are now critically injured and presumably in hospital. President Trump has also said that he was hit by a bullet. He says it tore through the skin of the upper part of his right ear. And if you just think about that for a moment, that means it is inches, an inch away from going in his head.
Yeah.
So that is how close the former president came this evening to getting a bullet in the head.
Must be something wrong with Donald, right? Why is he celebrating? Is that he's not killed or what? He should be terrified, but probably because of the character that he is, so he's not that scared.
So this is incredibly shocking developments, incredibly shocking news here on the ground. President Trump has also extended his condolences to those people who have been injured and died. He's also thanked law enforcement for their rapid action, and you can see from the video that they order him to the ground as soon as the shooting starts, and then they pile on top, which is what they're trained and paid to do, to put their bodies between him and the bullets. That's what they do. And then they took him away. We're hearing from his campaign, of course, that he's fine. His sons have been on social media as well, saying Donald Trump Jr. has spoken to his father, says he's fine. Eric Trump has talked on social media as well. I have to say to you that about half an hour ago, just on the perimeter here, there was an electronic billboard on the back of a truck that had been parked, and it had a picture of Donald Trump's face on it with a target, and it said in terms...
Did you see him holding his ear there? Probably did hit him.
Democrats...
If maybe he turned and then looked this way, probably the bullet was going to go into his skull. Hey, bro, he almost died.
Assassinating Donald Trump, trying to assassinate Donald Trump.
Right.
So that's a pretty shocking development, and it's an indication perhaps of what may be to come in terms of the divisions this may deepen in this country. There is a chance, of course, that this is this kind of thing that will make people stop and think about the political atmosphere and the dialogue in America, but there's a chance that it can make it a whole lot worse.
Well, it's been...
Sure, things might change. Things might change for the Democrats, no, because if the shooter is dead, they can easily pin it to the opposition and say it's them who planned that and who are trying to kill Donald Trump because he is their opposition. Damn, that's crazy. Let's go back and check back in the news what's happening. The headlines by MSN from Microsoft. It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. It's mad crazy. Cape Town woman transforms shack into stunning home, inspires many online. Home transformations in South Africa are happening, but let's not look at that for now. He's got blood on his face. My God. Mangaung Metro confirms the reopening of Zoo. I wanted to check the GNU report. Yeah, let's just go to this. And then this is where we are going to get news from SA. Solly Malat's minister turned around strategy for Department of Communication. VBS Bank and the Queen Majaji series. Patriotic Alliance briefing on new members, party's policy on undocumented immigrants. Kenny Kunene, the deputy president. VBS scandal plea bargain agreement. Mumelelo Zakalala weighs in. On the other news, Face the Nation, former Western Cape Judge President Dr. Hlophe seconded to serve on the GSC. Yeah, that's welcome back, my guy. He's got experience, he deserves to be there. Kukuzwa isivinini sika-Gaten Mackenzie. Kukuthuzwa abafundisi emasontweni. Yeah? Kwenzakalani? What's this? The day that was Gaten Mackenzie's Mr. Growing Miser. That disaster update. Cape Town of storms. Western Cape declares state of disaster. Cape Town in winter. Same thing. There's always an unrest in July caused by the weather in Cape Town. So yeah, man, let's check who's live and what that is saying. Outside Trump Tower after rally shooting. So they think they're gonna come for him again. Let's talk is live. Yeah, the news today is Trump shooting, Trump. It's all about Trump. What is Biden saying? Is this happening today? Does he know about what happened to Trump?
Take-A-Lot's Ultimate Checkout is coming. Take-A-Lot more subscribers get an extra 20% off to shop Ultimate Checkout deals. Sign up before 16 July to qualify. Take-A-Lot more today.
Now, it's time to end this war. Doesn't mean walk away from going after Sinwar and Hamas. And if you notice, you know better than most, there is a growing dissatisfaction on the West Bank from the Palestinians about Hamas. Hamas is not popular now. And so there's a lot of moving parts. I just have to keep moving to make sure that we get as much done as we can toward a ceasefire. And get those. And by the way, look at the numbers in Israel. I mean, my numbers are better in Israel than they are here. But then again, they're better than a lot of other people here too. But anyway.
The numbers are better in Israel than
bridge candidacy in 2020. You referred to yourself as being a bridge candidate for a younger, fresher generation of Democratic leaders, and I wanted to know what changed.
What changed was the gravity of the situation I inherited in terms of the economy, our foreign policy, and domestic division. And I think, I won't put words in anybody's mouth, most presidential historians give me credit.
probably that's gonna be it. You don't see anything interesting now. That's gonna be it. Four hours ago, our national survival came within centimeters of bullet's path. What is it on the song saying?
It's a horrifying day for the United States of America. I want your thoughts. When you first heard about this, what went through your mind? What's going through your mind now?
Now we're going to talk about this.
What's going through my mind now, first of all, is we heard the story of that person, an innocent, enthusiastic rally goer who was shot and killed. First, our heart goes out to them and our condolences goes out to that family. But I should say this, Trace, is that I personally believe that God intervened today, not just on behalf of President Trump, but on behalf of our country. If you think about this, 1 centimeter's distance in the path of a bullet was the future of not only Donald Trump's life, but I think the life of the United States of America. Imagine what we would be talking about today were it not for a hair's length difference in the path of a bullet. And I think that that's frightening. And I think that this is a moment for us all to step back. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, voting for Biden, voting for Trump, it doesn't matter. This is a moment where we, if one positive thing comes out of this otherwise near tragedy, let it be this, that first of all, we saw a president, a commander-in-chief, who in his most vulnerable moment, you saw it unvarnished. He stood up, he took the fire, he took the hit, and still stood up for the people who he stepped up to represent. And I think the other thing we have to take away is that this is unacceptable in the United States of America. This is not who we are. Disagree or not, we settle our differences peacefully through free speech and open debate, not this way. And so if one silver lining comes out of tonight, let it be that. And I hope that we begin the process of healing as a country while avoiding what could have been a national disaster that really, without exaggeration, could spell the end of the United States as we know it had this gone in a different direction.
Absolutely. Vivek, it's Martha McCallum here. I'm thinking about President Biden came out and made some comments. He may make more comments. We know they had a phone conversation earlier. He called what happened sick, and he said it's one of the reasons I want to unite this country. We've had a lot of vitriol, and I don't think it's, the politics, there's going to be a lot of politics starting this week, but what do you think the impact is as you look at where the country is right now? And given the fact that the last couple of weeks have been all about concerns that we see in polling over President Biden's ability to serve and his fitness.
Yeah. Well, look, I'll give you a couple of tidbits that I've experienced even in the last few hours. I've had CEOs across the country from different corridors that would have been previously afraid to state their support for Donald Trump, or maybe even personally tepid about it, now coming in and asking, how can I help? I'm all in. These are exactly words of people who have contacted me alone in the last several hours, and I'm sure that's true of people across the country. The reality is I don't want to make this political tonight. This is not the moment for that. I will say that President Biden, who ran on the platform of uniting the country, had an opportunity even tonight to really rise to the occasion in a way that he fell short. I don't say this is criticizing him as a Democrat, but somebody who was rooting for a president to rise to the occasion immediately and not only offer the usual ritual incantation, the ritual condemnation of political violence. Yeah, we got that. But a deeper, heartfelt sense to say that, you know what, this is a man who I'm running against, But it is wrong that this should happen to anybody, and this is not who we are as Americans. And if I, as a U.S. president, have failed to create this environment in this country, then I will own that because the buck stops with me as the commander-in-chief. I don't think we saw that kind of message come from President Biden tonight. And for all of the discussions about how he came short up after the debate, I do think that even tonight was a moment for a man who ran on the platform of uniting the country to have fallen short in the way that he did. But this is less about criticizing President Biden and more asking the question of how we as Americans are able to say we're moving on. We're turning a page on a chapter of our history where we see our political opponents as our enemies. Let tonight mark the end of that. And if so, something positive, as you could imagine, at least something small positive that came out of this tonight, let it be that.
Vivek, you talk about rising to the occasion. I want to go back to what you were saying earlier there, which was the response of the former president after moments after he had been shot. And he got up and he said, you know, I need my shoes. And then he stopped and he fist pumped a couple of times and he said, fight,
yes.
fight. And the response was USA, USA, because that's the natural response. At all of his rallies, he talks about fighting. It's been a theme. And the theme is they're coming for you, but I'm in the way. So you got to keep fighting. What do you think about that response and that having the wherewithal to do that?
Well, look, I think those images we saw, our kids and our grandkids are going to be viewing that image in their history books. That was American history tonight and for the better. It was like the images of George Washington crossing the Delaware with the flag in the background. That's what we saw tonight. And it was one of those moments. Our founding fathers, they risked not only their fortunes, but their lives for this country. And I think this is one of those moments where we have a leader who has made a sacrifice. I'm personally grateful now more than ever for the sacrifices that President Trump has made. And I'm grateful that God stepped in tonight to save him for this country.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Mr. President.
Great time. I love that house he has. I love David's house. What a house. That made the biggest impression, huh?
Thank you, sir. I heard you have a pretty nice house, too.
Yeah, I have we're in a nice house. We like
Although
houses.
it's only worth $18 million, right?
We're like, I know, the judge said 18 million. People said Palm Beach has gone down a long way. Hello, everybody.
Let your winners ride.
Rain Man David Sack.
We open source it to the fans, and they've just gone crazy with it.
Love you, West Queen of Quinoa.
Thanks so much for sitting down with us, Mr. President. The All-In Pod's basically the four of us having conversations. It's kind of a spectrum of different views. We got it's sort of like a little bit of some Fox News and then some MSDNC at the same time.
Well, that's okay. Keeps it interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, Chamath and I, we had a great time at the fundraiser that we did a couple weeks ago. I think it turned out great. And I heard the Winklevoss brothers are actually announcing that they're donating $1 million each in Bitcoin to you tomorrow. So I think that's a great result to come out of it as well.
Yeah, got to meet them for the first time at your house, and terrific. They did well. Like they might have started the whole thing. I don't know.
He's